Hey everyone, my name is Sierra Parker and I'm a fifth grade teacher at Shuford Elementary. I'm going to talk to you today about math pathways and how we use pathways within our classrooms. Pathways are what we chose to go to. We switched from station rotation model to the math pathway within our classrooms, and we did that because pathways are differentiated based on data and aligned to standards. This is an example of what one of the pathway looks like. At the top, you'll notice that each week the students write the standard, and we use that language with our students so they understand what MBT 0.6 means, what MBT 0.4 means. We just get them used to using that type of vocabulary within our classroom. The teacher will write the pre-assessment score at the top. This is how we decide what pathway the students are going to take. And then the students write their I can statements every week. So if you'll notice, there is 2 must-dos, and then the students can choose between collaboration and VIP. So an important part of blended learning at Shuford is student choice and student pace and being able to navigate your own learning. Pace 1 is for students that, when we looked at their pre-assessment, they just needed a little bit of reinforcement with that skill. For example, our standard coming up is MBT 0.6, which is dividing whole numbers. So these students may have done well with dividing, 2-digit by 1-digit number, or they may have even done well with 2-digit by 2-digit, and they just need a little bit of help and guidance to master that skill. Pace 2 is for students who are lacking the foundational skills that are required in order to make them successful. So these would be your below grade level students. And Pace 1 would be your own grade level students. If a student scores really well in the pre-assessment and we feel like they can be enriched within that standard, then their pathway is completely online. And it focuses on enriching them within that standard, PBL projects, anything just to take them beyond the standard. So you'll notice with Pace 1 and Pace 2 on Tuesday, they're going to watch a video. And Pace 1, those on-grade level students are going to go ahead and jump into division word problems. Versus where Pace 2, those kids are going to go back and get those foundational skills that they were lacking. The reason that we don't start pathways on Monday is because we found that with 5th grade standards being so in-depth that we needed to take that Monday in order to do a mini lesson with our students. Well, really beyond a mini lesson. So that day, we do interactive notebooks online. We do Nearpod lessons. We do collaboration and collaborative activities with our students in order to help them to be successful with that standard. On Friday, everyone takes a SchoolNet post-test on the standard that we taught that week. So collaboration is where students work with another student. It can be a game, any sort of activity where they are working with a peer. And VIP is a very important practice, and VIP most of the time is online. For flashback, that's a must-do because we want them to spiral with their standards. So this is where they're going back and hitting those standards that we've already taught. And then the students will take their pre-test for the next week on Thursday so that we can go ahead and get them prepared and we can analyze that data and know who needs what for the coming up week. So there's student choice between collaboration and VIP, but there's also student choice with where students can start within their pathway. And for 5th grade students, it might not sound like that's a lot of choice, but it is. And they really, really appreciate and they grow to love that they can start off in flashback or they can start off in their pace, whatever they want to do. And there's also not a restriction as far as time. So these students don't rotate between these activities. What I normally do is I'll put a 45-minute timer up on the board, and that's just there for them to monitor themselves and to know if they need to work hard or work faster, or if they have enough time where they can slow down a little bit. So they are really guiding their own learning within their pathway. So every day we do an exit ticket. So this is just an example that I pulled to show what our exit tickets look like. 2 short questions. This is actually from a fraction standard, but this helps me to know who I need to pull back every single day. So I have data based on the pre-assessment. That helps me to know which students I need to pull back for that skill I'm teaching. I have data from the exit ticket. So that helps me to know which students I need to pull back that day. And then I have data from flashback. So just because a student is doing well in MBT 0.6, they might be slipping in another standard. So every day I'm getting 3 different forms of data that I can use in order to know how I need to help my students in my classroom. Every student is pulled back every day. And let me reword that. Not every student is pulled back every day, but every student is pulled back each week. Our PACE 2 students, those below grade level students, are pulled back every day. My enrichment students are pulled back however many times a week they need it so that I can make sure that they're understanding how to enrich in that standard. And my own grade level students are pulled back, whether they need help within that standard based on the exit ticket or whether they need help with another standard based on flashback. So I'm meeting the needs of all of my students, but my students are able to go out and work on their own and be self-reliant because the pathway allows them to do that. I hope that this helps you guys to understand a little bit more about pathways. Short and sweet. We love doing pathways. It took us a long time, and it was a lot of hard work in order to create these pathways, but it was well worth it. Well worth it. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.